it's Anita. Thank you for the input on my last video. So I'm going to do part 1 over, but with a different color yarn. And hopefully this will be a little bit clearer. This is actually wool spun, which I believe is a discontinued yarn. But let's give you the specs. This is a bulky 5. Recommended hook is 6.5 in the color mahogany, and it is 127 yards. So most likely I'll probably use all of this. This is 6.5 clover, double magic circle. Let's wrap around your finger twice. Okay, you have 2 loops. Stick your hook inside, pull up a loop, and chain 1. So you chain 1, you get a stitch marker, and you place it on that loop. And then here we're going to do extended singles 6 times inside the loop. So to do an extended single, you're going to go in the loop, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2. That's your first extended, and this yarn is splitty. You can do that 6 times. And the extended, you can see it looks like a double, but it's not. In the loop, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the double magic loop, you're going to pull the string. The first one that goes in between the 2 of these is the first one you're going to pull. So pull it slightly. So you can see that one went in first. So you're going to pull that one first. Okay, and then pull the tail and the other one will go away. Alright, so now we're going to move the stitch marker to the stitch. In this row, we're going to increase. And so to increase, you're going to go in the stitch, the first 2 stitches. The 2 legs, and just carry the tail over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is your first extended single. And so because you went on top of that stitch, this is actually the post of that stitch. So you're going to go into that post and do a front post extended single. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you made 2 stitches. The next stitch is the same thing. Go in and carry this tail, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, and yarn over, pull through 2. Same thing, go into the post of that stitch, and keep going until you get 12 stitches at the end of this row. on the top stitch, around the post, on the top stitch, and around the post. Okay, so that should be 12 stitches. You can count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then remember this was 12. Row 3, you're going to, this is where the fun comes, and it basically is going to be repeated until you get the hat the size that you need it to be. In my particular case, in making all those hats for Hat Not Hate, all the hats fit me basically, and most children's head is anywhere between 19 to 21 inches, 22 inches. Row 3, you are going to go into the extended single, but in between the stitches here. So instead of going on top there, you're going to go into the loop. Do an extended single there. Oh, and it's split. Don't sit on her, buddy. Let me show you what is going on here. See, life happens. And he's sitting on her, and she doesn't like it. And that one over there is just like hanging out. That's Duncan. This is Hercules. And next to him is Alaska. Right? Okay, back to this. All right. So we did an extended single inside the previous extended. Now we have to, increase. And to increase, you're going to go on top of the extended single. On top of the post of the extended single. And then you're going to go around the posts. So that's now 3 stitches. So we got 1, 2, 3. Same thing. Jump to the next section. You're going to go inside the extended single with another extended on top of the post with an extended single, and then around the post with an extended single. Okay, so then you should start to see the posts, which comes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there should be 6 posts, and at the end of this row, which was row 3, you should have 18. And this is a trick that I use so that I know what row I'm on, because each row starts off with 1, then 2, then 3. And as you go to your rows, that should be how many stitches you have within each little post. So this was row 3, so we have 1, 2, and then the post is 3. Does that make sense? This is row 4. And then I run around it. That'll give you 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 6 is 24. At the end of row 4, you'll have 24 stitches. And at this point, you don't necessarily have to move your stitch marker, you just have to leave it where it's at so you know when to start and stop your next sections. We're gonna go to row 5. Row 5, you're gonna do 3 extended single on the previous extended, 1 on top and 1 around the post. You want to count, you can count. I count by sections, just so that I don't lose my stitches. So I go 1, 2, 3. 1 on top is 4, and 1 around is 5. I'm sorry if I'm going too fast. And then you have your one little section left. I'm going to go in between the stitches, do an extended, another one, extended, and you have to watch your yarn because this one splits a lot. So that's 1, 2, 3. On top is 4, and around is 5. So and this is why I call it a burst, because this is the center of the sun and these are the rays of the sunburst, and it kind of curves like an octopus. But again, you can do this with whatever number of stitches you want. I like to do multiple of 6 because most of my hats work out better that way. But if you wanted to start the magic circle with, let's say 8 or 10 or 12, whatever you want, then that's how many sections you'll have for the crown of the hat. It's going to be row 6, and remember you should have 6 stitches in between each section. You're going to do 4 extended single, then you're going to do the increase, which is 1 extended on top and 1 extended around the post. So at the end of row 6 you should have 36 stitches. Okay, 1 section left. Okay, that's row 6. And it's getting bigger. Okay, so here is where my method comes in. I use my hand. So from the heel of my hand to the top of my middle finger is how wide I want this crown to be. So we're nowhere near that. So you can use your hand, which I use because I'm making the hat for myself. But if you're making the hat for whoever you want, then measure accordingly. The top of your head or the top of their head should match the size of their hand. So I did end up doing 2 more rows, and it matches perfectly. So remember the hand method, bottom the heel of your hand to the top of your middle finger should be the size of the top of the crown, which is where we're at. And because we are using a size 5 and a bigger hook, I got there faster than what I normally would do, which is typically around row 10 or 11. But with this particular hat, we're gonna go ahead and move on. I only did 8 rows, so row 7 was, at the end of row 7 we had 42 stitches, and in row 8, which is where I'm at 48 stitches. But we are going to do half double crochet in each extended single all the way around, and I'll show you what to do when you get to the posts. So half double crochet is go into, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and yarn over all 3, and repeat that all the way around till you get to the post. Okay, so remember, you should add 7 stitches, and then the post will be 8. So at this point, you can go on top of this with a half double, or you can go into the actual posts of the stitch. And if you want to do that, if you turn it to the side, you'll see the V, and then you'll also see the top of the extended. So whichever you choose, make it consistent all the way around. I like to go into the V of that post just so that there's no holes, and then repeat all the way till you get to here, this post, and again you should be at 48 stitches. One more section. Okay. It's 48 stitches. So now I'm going to move my stitch marker to the top of this stitch. So now here you're going to do half double crochet on the third loop of your previous half double, which is front, back, third loop. But because this is the beginning of this stitch, which I only do on the beginning rows, I'm going to do a half double crochet on the third loop and then the back of the V of this one, just to close that hole. Okay, so see, it's no hole, but the rest is all the third loop, all the way around. On the third loop of the half double crochet, do a half double. And if it's easier to kind of flip your work so you can see that loop better, do that. Oops, that split. Okay, so you made it back to the stitch marker. At this point, you can keep going around, or you can do a slip stitch on top of this V-stitch. which makes it look a little bit nicer. But this is going to be the back of your hat anyway, so nobody really is going to see it. Let me show you. You just do there. So it doesn't really line up that well, but do whatever works for you. Again, I'm going to do another row of half double crochet on the third loop, and then remember this first loop, or stitch I should say, I picked another one from right below it to close that hole. And then just go around. This is the first stitch. It's garbage day. Okay, one more stitch. Okay, so then we're going to slip stitch to that stitch. And move this to this stitch. Okay, so now that you have 3, this is basically how the hat is coming along. So if you fold it, this is the back of the hat, but if this is the front, look how nice that looks. Again, with my hand method, the top of your head to the bottom of your hand should be from the top of your head to the bottom of your hand should be right at the bottom of your ear. So that's where the beanie should stop. But if you want it slouchy, you just make it a little bit longer, however you need to. But for the most part, this is how most of my hats start like. So the burst pattern, and then a row of half double, and then 2 rows of half double in the back loop. On the 3rd loop of the half double, and then the next row is basically a single crochet row all the way around, so we can get the base of the body. And you can omit the single crochet, and just work your stitches. But I like to do the single only because, so you can do the single in that loop and that loop, because that's the first stitch. On the 3rd loop, just so that it's consistent and you can see the V's of this 3rd section. But I do the single all the way around, and then I work the body with whatever stitch that I fancy. And because I typically, depending on the week or the day, I like to watch Nana Michelle Crochets, and her and Olivia basically picks a stitch of the week, and that's the stitch I use. So the week before last was the extended single, and look what I did. I created this madness with that stitch. And then last week was the sedge stitch. So the sedge stitch, from what I understand, is a single, half double, and a double crochet in one stitch, skip 2, and repeat, which I really like. And I made 2 hats so far with this method. This will be my 3rd one. I started a tutorial with the blue hat with a 4-weight and a 6mm hook, but which was the last video that I posted, part 1 of the burst stitch, and I love the feedback. And it was hard to see the stitches because it was such a dark color. This is kind of dark too, but I have to figure out how to get better lighting or something. I would do it in my crochet room, but the chair is not comfortable, and I like to be comfortable when I'm crocheting. Sedge stitch is you're going to do a single crochet on the first single crochet, a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, all in one stitch. Then you're going to skip 2 and repeat. A single crochet, double, and you repeat that all the way around. I will come back when I'm done with this row. Okay, so I went all the way around with the sedge stitch, the last stitch, and then you should have 2 stitches left because you are doing multiples of 6, and then you're just gonna keep going. with another set of sedge stitch, but instead of well, you'll still skip 2 stitches, but each sedge stitch will be in the single crochet stitch of the previous row here. So single, half double, double crochet in the previous single crochet, okay. So we made it to the next stitch marker. Oops, that has to be a double. Okay, so when we get here, so I'm going to do a half double in each. Okay. This loop and this loop. I mean, it's still a hole, but it's not as bad. But you're going to repeat this all the way around. You should have 48 stitches at the end of this row. And then do it one more time. Around. And this will be the body of the hat. And then we will meet back up when I show you how to do the brim. Okay, so we are starting the brim. I got to the stitch marker. I'm going to do a single crochet, and we're working on third loop, an extended single, single crochet, extended single, single crochet, extended single, and that was just single crochet, extended single, single crochet all the way around, and I ended with an extended single. So the next rounds, or actually I'm just going to keep going until I run out of yarn to complete a whole loop. But all you do is basically single on top of this single, extended single in the extended single, and repeat. Single on top, extended in extended, and keep going until, and just keep going in the round. No slip stitch needed. Yeah. Use your imagination on this section of the hat, which is the body, and if you learn a new stitch, apply it to your hat. But for the most part, the top of the hat is the same. The first 3 rows of the body is the same. The last 3 rows of the body and the brim is the same for most of my hats. So I hope to see your hat. If you do make a hat, on Facebook and Instagram or TikTok, put hashtag bursts of kindness beanie, and the hashtag will be at the bottom of this video. But let me see what you come up with. Make the hat your own and be kind. That's all I ask. But that's all you should aspire to be as well. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and the world will be so much more peaceful. Okay, so I did 4 rows of the brim, and it's quite big, but it'll be a slouchy maybe. My head's big, so we'll know. We'll see. So I still have all this left. We're gonna do 1 single crochet all the way around, just to finish it off and clean up the edges so it's not so wavy. But basically you're gonna do single crochet in a single crochet in the extended single, and repeat all the way around. Single in the extended single, single on top of the single, and just keep going all the way around. See how it kind of cleans that up. But I like this brim because it's subtle and there's not that much holes. Almost there. And last stitch. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you are going to pull this out a little bit, take your hook, go into the back of that stitch, pull this around the loop, and pull it through like that, and kind of tighten it, yarn over, take your baby kindergarten scissors, snip it, and pull it tight. So you fastened off, but it's not as noticeable. Do you see that? And then we're just going to sew in this one in. So most of my hats just one end. I just have this one to sew in, and I sew it from the inside. So just go back and forth within the multiple stitches, and I like to just pick it up and thread it through. Okay, that should be good enough. Snip it, pull it tight, and there you have it. My burst of kindness edge stitch beanie. But the burst of kindness comes from this crown. Do you like it? Hopefully this will be something that you can make. And again, if you do make this hat, please use the hashtag burst of kindness beanie. And I hope to see what you come up with. Use whatever yarn you would like. However many starting chains. I use 6, but whatever number you choose, that's how many sections of the hat you will have. So the more burst you want, the less. You can do 5 and kind of make it like a star instead of or you can do 8 and it'll be an octopus with 8 tentacles because they kind of squirrels. But either way, I hope you like it. There'll be some pictures at the end of this video with it on me. Thanks for watching. Take care. Be kind.